I want you to understand that if you're relying on motivation, you will ebb and flow, you will go up and down, you will not be consistent, and the results that you could have gotten otherwise will not show up as quickly as they will if you show up every day and do the work whether you want to or not, because you've committed to a process. How do I stay motivated? That's one of the number one questions that I get. Matter of fact, I got it today. Clark, how do you stay motivated? So welcome back to Get Busy Livin. This is all about really optimizing your life and feeling your best. And I understand why people ask me this question, Clark, how do you stay motivated? And I've thought about that a lot, honestly. And I used to buy into motivation. I can remember years ago, I was with a buddy of mine by the name of Jim, and we were listening to some motivational speaker. I can't remember who it was, but he looked at me and he said, Clark, someday you're going to be a motivational speaker. Now, mind you, I'm like 20 something years old, just got out of the Marine Corps, and he's kind of prophesying this to me. You're going to be a motivational speaker someday. And I didn't really understand what that meant. I got it, but like I couldn't really wrap my head around the concept of what that might look like. So I've listened to millions of hundreds certainly of different guys trying to motivate us. And one thing that I've realized is that motivation is useless. It really is. It's being committed that is the answer to the question of, Clark, what keeps you motivated? Motivation ebbs and flows. It's up and down. It's an emotion, really. So I could wake up on the wrong side of the bed. I could have an argument with somebody. I might not feel motivated, right? Like feel motivated. That's the way we put that together. That's how we package that sentence. I don't feel motivated today. Well, it doesn't matter how you feel. Are you committed to a process? Have you chosen to do the work necessary consistently enough to get the result regardless of how you feel on any given day? So this idea of being a motivational speaker is great. I'm happy that I motivate people into action, but the action cannot rely on motivation. The action needs to rely on a commitment to the process. So if you look at any of my stuff, you will see a theme of consistency with me. I just got off a podcast earlier today with a buddy of mine, Tony Grebmeyer, and he chose the title of The Power of Consistency or something like that. And it was because I continued to talk about how consistent I've been in my life. The only reason I look the way I look at my age is because I've consistently put in the effort regardless of if I felt motivated or not. I'll use yesterday for an example. My day got all out of whack. I wasn't on my normal pattern. I like to be on, I go to sleep at a certain time, I wake up at a certain time, I go to the gym at a certain time, I typically eat at certain times. So there's a system that I follow that works really well for me. And it got thrown off because somebody didn't show up. So I didn't get to the gym on time. And I was losing energy to do what I normally would have done already. My mind didn't have the motivation. My body didn't feel like going and doing 30 minutes on the Stairmaster because it's not easy. It's not fun. It's boring. But I somehow, through commitment, knowing that I am here as an example of what is possible, that's one thing that motivated me. I'm an example to what is possible. I have to do this. It's part of my job. I like to look the way I look. It feels good to accomplish something that you didn't want to do. So I start putting all of this stuff together to give me even more reason to be consistent and not rely on whether or not I felt like doing it, which we refer to as motivation. So I got in there, I jumped up on that Stairmaster. There was nobody in the gym, no one to the right, to the left to talk to me, which would have kept me engaged. And I said, I'm going to get through 30 minutes on this. 15 minutes hit, I wanted to quit because I wasn't motivated, but I was committed. So I said, I got to get to 30. When I got to 30, I'm like, I want to push through this feeling of not wanting to do this, knowing I'm committed to the process and knowing that even more than the physical benefit I would have received from it, there was a mental benefit that I got from having grit and determination in saying, you know what, 30 minutes, F you, I'm going to do 45. So I went past 30 and I hit 45 and I thought, man, I'm so close to 60. Why don't I just do 60? Well, 15 minutes. So here's how your mind works. And here's how motivation can trip you up. What's 15 minutes going to do? Are you really going to lose any body fat in 15 minutes? You can stop at 45. It's like this devil and angel kind of conversation. It's the buff Clark. It's the not so buff Clark. You don't need an extra 15 minutes. I'm like, I'm going to go 15 minutes because I want to say I kicked 30 minutes in the ass. I'll see your 30 and I'll add 30. That's commitment. It had nothing to do with motivation because I did not feel like doing it. So here's what I want to say. I said a lot already. I want you to understand that if you're relying on motivation, you will ebb and flow. You will go up and down. You will not be consistent. And the results that you could have gotten otherwise will not show up as quickly as they will if you show up every day and do the work, whether you want to or not, because you've committed to a process. My mentor, Ed Cole, and I've said this before and I'll continue to say it till the day I die, and I was listening to him yesterday. He wrote a book called Maximized Manhood. He taught me and a bunch of other guys that used to sit around and listen to him. He said, Clark, James, Pete, you're only committed to what you confess. I'm here today as a fitness influencer, someone that you look to and go, hey man, this guy motivates me to do certain things. I have put it out to the world that I want to be the fittest 60-year-old on the planet. I want to be an example to people. I want to be someone who causes belief in you that it is possible for you too to do it. And that doesn't have anything to do with motivation. It has to do with commitment based upon a confession that I put out to you and so many other people that requires, as a man of integrity, that I do this whether I feel like it or not. You see where I'm going with this? So if you tap into that and put motivation aside and not rely on that for your reason to go do what you do, then you're going to be a whole lot better off as a result. Absolutely 100% guaranteed beyond a shadow of a doubt. Because commitment is what keeps you married, right? You don't want to be married sometimes. Man, it's easier to be single, whatever. Well, you committed to being married, so you put in the work to get through the crap that makes you think you'd be better off without a wife. And I'm saying that because I've been there myself. I've had those thoughts, but I pushed through because I committed in front of a bunch of people to stick through this. So motivation is useless. That's it. Motivation is useless. Until next time, as always, get busy living and make it a great day.